Hi, my name's Emma, and I'm a huge book nerd.
You're my library, always open for business, but you never show it. You're just sitting with it, but I know the score, and you're killing it.
So today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video. As you can see, I'm not sitting on my bed. Instead, I'm sitting on my floor next to my TBR shelves. So I am entering my senior year of college, which means at the end of this school year, I will be moving away. And I have accumulated a lot of books since I've moved into this house, so I'm going to have to get rid of a lot. In order to kind of prepare for that, I am putting myself on a book buying ban. I'm not going to buy any books, which is going to be really difficult to do, but I'm really going to try to stick to that. I will probably still accept advanced reader copies because, like, those are pretty cool and they're free, and if I don't like them, I can give them away to someone who will appreciate them, and I'm not like losing any money on it. So to get to the point, I'm going to focus this year on reading all the books on my TBR shelves so that I can make informed decisions about which books I want to keep and which books I would like to give away and like to whom I want to give them to and all of that stuff. So I'm just going to go through my shelves with you today and show you all of the books that are on my physical TBR shelves. And yeah, let's just jump right in because it's gonna be a long video. So there are a total of 81 books on this shelf, I believe. So this first cubby here is all like general fiction, like adult fiction, historical fiction, that kind of thing. The first book is The Mothers by Britt Bennett. I don't really know what this is about other than it's about like women and how they relate with each other. I think there's a woman who's like looking for her lost mom, or like there's some sort of mystery going on, not sure. Then I have Sourdough by Robin Sloan, which I've heard is really interesting. It's about this woman who I think loses her job and then picks up a hobby of making sourdough bread and like gets really into it. So that sounds exciting. Then I have The Love Song of Miss Queenie Hennessy by Rachel Joyce. This is the companion novel to The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry by Rachel Joyce, which I love and is like one of my all-time favorite books. So I don't know why I have not picked this up yet. Next is Inside the O'Briens by Lisa Genova, which I bought because I read Still Alice by Lisa Genova and loved it. This is about a man who has Huntington's disease. Next is Lily and the Octopus by Stephen Rowley, which I know nothing about, and I want to keep it that way because I've been told that's the best way to go into it. Next I have Apollo 13 by Jim Lovell and Jeffrey Kluger, and this is a non-fiction book about the Apollo 13 mission, and this is actually the book that the movie's based on, and I love the movie, so I bought the book. Dusty down here. The next is Emma by Jane Austen, which, I mean, it's about a woman named Emma who's sort of like a matchmaker kind of gal, and she's really smart and funny and intelligent and witty. Never read it. You think I would because it's my name, but I haven't. It's my next Jane Austen. Next is The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which I am so excited to read, but like I'm so excited to read all these books. You feel? This is about a group of friends and there's some sort of mystery involved, and that's all I know about it. Our lawn is being mowed right now, so if you can hear that, I'm really sorry, but I just want to get this video filmed now. Next is Chocolate by Joanne Harris, and this is the book that the movie's based on. Basically, this is about a woman who moves into like a really conservative town and opens a chocolate shop, and it's sort of exploring like the balance between like pleasure and devotion or something like that. I don't know, but I found it at a Goodwill and it looked cool. Then I have Black Ass by A. Igoni Barrett, and this is like a satire on race in society. Next is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, which is actually a book that I'll be reading for a class this next semester. I actually don't know anything about it, but I've heard good things, so I'm excited. Next is The Book of Speculation by Erica Swiler, and I just bought this because I found it at Goodwill. I've seen it around, don't know anything about it. Next is Violent Ends, which is a novel from 7 different points of view, and it's written by all of these different authors, and I'm really excited about this. This is basically a bunch of stories about a school shooting. Next is The Power of One by Bryce Courtenay, and this was actually sent to me as part of a book exchange that I was doing, and I don't know a lot about it at all. It's historical fiction, but it's somebody's favorite book, so I'm excited. Next is We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson, and I have heard incredible things about this. Basically, I know that it's kind of like a YA contemporary sci-fi kind of thing that involves aliens somehow. So I'm really excited about this. Next is The Axe by Sigrid Undset, and this is something that my mother lent me that she thought I would like, and it's historical fiction. It's part of a series. It takes place in Norway. Don't know anything else about it. Next is It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini, and this is basically a book about depression and about a guy who is in a mental hospital. It's also Own Voices. Next is The Enchanted by Renee Denfeld, and this is about a guy who's like in prison, but then he starts imagining like magical lands, I think. But is he imagining them? There's like a line between reality and fantasy. Next is Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert M. Pirzig. This is basically just about a guy and his mentor and fixing motorcycles, but there's a lot of like philosophical stuff. You know, very famous book. Next is Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohn and David Leviathan, and this is a book that I'm really excited to read for Christmas, just like a YA romance Christmassy book. Next is The Dinner by Herman Koch, and this is basically, it's supposed to be a thriller about two couples who come together for dinner and like their sons did something. And next is The Plowman by Kim Zupan. I don't know anything about this. I did at one point. This has been on my Goodreads list for like 2 years. Next is Emmy and Oliver by Robin Benway. Ooh, Robin Benway. What else did Robin Benway write? Robin Benway also wrote Far from the Tree, which is like a popular book that's going around right now. I don't know much about this other than I think it's about like two teenagers who are in love, I think. Next is Kokoro by Nutsumi Suseki. This is a classic. Don't know anything about it beyond that. I got it in a Capsule Books box. Next is We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler, and I don't know what this is about. Next is City of Thieves by David Benoist. This is really cool. I'm excited for this one. It is about the Nazi siege of Leningrad and how like the people of Leningrad didn't have any food or anything, and these guys go out and like steal eggs, I think. They're like egg thieves or something. Apparently it's supposed to be like funny, which is interesting for a historical fiction of World War II. And the last one in this section is In Darkness by Nick Lake. This is about a Haitian boy who's trapped in the ruins after a Haitian earthquake. And he's basically just trying to survive. This next section of the bookshelf houses thrillers and fantasy. So I have a ton of Stephen King. First of all, Lizzie's Story, Tommyknockers, Needful Things, The Dark Tower, which is more fantasy. Then I have The Brethren by John Grisham. I have this, which I borrowed from my sister actually, Scones and Bones by Laura Childs, which is another book in the Tea Shop Mystery series, which I have one of them and I've read them and I actually like guilty pleasure liked it. So like, then I have, here's where we shame me, Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I know, I need to read it. I do. This fall, this winter maybe. Then I have an arc of Gazelle in the Shadows by Michelle Peach, which is about a British college student studying at Durham University, and she gets involved with some sketchy stuff. Then I have Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosgol, and this is another book that I'm reading for a class. This is a graphic novel actually, which I'm really excited about. It's like hard to not read this ahead of time, but like I'm not going. I have a couple true crimes. This is My Story by Elizabeth Smart, and this is about a girl who was in captivity for a year, which I actually have a play that has some similar themes, so it's kind of like play research. Then I have A Stolen Life by J.C. Dugard, and this is about a woman who was held in captivity for 18 years. So like, Then I have another arc. This is European Travel for the Monstrous Gentlewoman by Theodora Ghost, and this is actually a sequel to another novel called The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, which I haven't read, but I've been told I can read this on its own. It sounds fascinating. It's kind of like a historical fiction fantasy about a bunch of women who like go on this mission to save this woman who's been kidnapped, and like it sounds so good, but I'm scared because it's so long, so I'm like really like, I don't know. Then I have A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab, which is problematic because I've read the first one, but I haven't read the second one, and I only own the third one. I found it on sale, what can I say? Then I have Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke, which I have started and I'm like reasonably far through, but I don't know if I can finish this. I might just have to give it away unfinished. I don't know. Then I have Evening News by Marley Swick. Why do I want to pronounce it like a German person? Marley Swick. This book sounds really fascinating. I found it at Goodwill not knowing what it was about, and it's about like a family who the son like accidentally murders his sister, because I think it's because they have like guns in the house that are not locked up, and so he like accidentally kills his sister, and then they have to like deal with the aftermath. This is all about like the aftermath, which sounds just fascinating and very dark, which is right on my alley. Then there's Bad Romance by Heather Demetrois, and this is basically about a woman in an abusive relationship, and the cover just really gets me. Then there's Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, which I really liked Gone Girl and Sharp Objects, so I'm sure I'll like this too, just a matter of getting around to it. Then I have The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris, and yes, I read the first one, which is like The Red Dragon or something. Didn't love it, but I've heard that this one's really good, and obviously the movie's based off of it, so I have to read it. Then I have In the Woods by Tanya French, which this one sounds fascinating. So there's like a bunch of kids who like go out into the woods, and then they like go missing, and then the adults go out to find them, and all they find is one kid left up in a tree, and there's blood in his shoes, and he doesn't remember what happened. And you're like... Next is The Beast is an Animal, which is a fantasy, like a dark fantasy thriller kind of thing that I know nothing about. Then I'm currently reading The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith, or J.K. Rowling, because I just read Cuckoo's Calling, and then I also have the third book, Care of Evil, on the shelf. So I hope that I'm going to knock this series out maybe in August, but at least by the end of September. Then I have another arc. This is The Last Straw by Ed Duncan. I read the previous book, Pigeon Blood Red, which I liked, actually, shockingly, so I went ahead and said that I would read the second book as well. It's just a matter of getting to it. Then I have the first 3 illustrated editions of the Harry Potter books. I've read the first one. I'm currently reading the second one. I have the third one, and this is one that I will probably break my book buying ban to buy the fourth one, because I just really want to own them, and it's fun to buy them as they come out. And it's cheaper if I pre-order than it is if I get it later. Then I have The Chamber by John Grisham, A Painted House by John Grisham, and Shutter Island by Dennis Lane, which I'm really excited about this one. Last shelf, people. Last shelf. So this shelf houses classics, which I now realize Kokoro and the Zen of the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance should be living on this shelf. So first of all, I did already start reading this. I have only read the first story of it, so I'm not very far at all. But the complete stories of Flannery O'Connor, my friend sent this to me as part of the book exchange because it's his favorite book, or one of his favorite books. So I'm really excited to read this and get into it. For plays, I'm not going to tell you what these are about because a lot of them I don't really know, honestly, and I feel like a lot of times explaining what a play is about is just like, it's 100 pages, just read it, you know? If you would like a video where I tell you what all these plays are about, I'd be happy to do that, but this is going to get long. The Laramie Project, Junk, Dying City, collection of 8 plays from off-Broadway that I found for free at a bookstore. This beautiful copy of Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice, Cyrano de Bergerac, which is like my favorite classic play. The Weir by the Bog of Cats, which is for a class. Oh, The Weir is also for a class. What I Did Last Summer. The Mercy Seat, The Lion in Winter, Top Dog, Underdog, Ruined, and those are all of the plays. And now I'm gonna do the like books on writing. 100 Essays I Don't Have Time to Write on Umbrellas, Sword Fights, Parades, and Dogs, Fire Alarms, Children, and Theater by Sarah Rule, which I've actually already read a bunch of the essays out of this. I just haven't finished it. How to Write a Sentence and How to Read One by Stanley Fish. A Poetry Handbook by Mary Oliver, which I have also started but just not finished. The Empty Space by Peter Brook. And The Playwright's Guidebook by Stuart Spencer, which a director friend of mine was very kind to give me. And then I just have a couple like writing books down here. I have 100 stories to write, 300 writing prompts, like fun stuff. Oh, and then, here's another, a collection of plays by Stanley. Okay, now on to classics. I have Maya Angelou's Letters to My Daughter. I have Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. No idea what that's about. This is actually not a classic. This is just like a collection of student work that I got from the English department here. I guess they publish it. It's like a newsletter kind of thing, but it's a little book. On the Occasion of My Last Afternoon by Kay Gibbons, and I know nothing about this. My sister got it for me for Christmas. Thank you, Marion. Then I have Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, which I have started, but just not finished. It's so long. And then I have East of Eden by John Steinbeck, which my lovely sister also got me for Christmas, which I'm really excited about this one because I've heard incredible things. Like, this is some people's all-time favorite book. And then another one that my sister got me for Christmas, A Christmas Carol, The Chimes, and The Cricket on the Hearth, all by Charles Dickens. I have read The Christmas Carol, and then Christmas was over because she gave it to me for Christmas. I do plan to read the other two stories this Christmas. Last, but certainly not least, The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. That was a lot of books, and now I have a lot of cleanup to do. And my voice is kind of tired from talking to you for the last 20 minutes. Really, this is kind of more of a selfish video because what I really want is for you guys to comment down below and let me know which books I should read first. Like, what books on my TBR are you really excited about? And what books do you want to hear about when I do eventually get to them? If you have recommendations on like which month I should read these books in, that would be welcome too. That's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your presence here. If you're not already, please subscribe and click that little bell icon. And if you are already subscribed, please like and comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Mwah.
Now I was headed to the bus stop.